The British royal family, an embodiment of historical wealth and power, has a net worth in the billions. While their extravagant lifestyle is on display, the complexities of their money, which range from massive estates to royal artifacts, remain largely hidden. This video reveals the origins and mysteries of their money, providing a rare peek into the financial systems that support their regal lifestyle. Let's get into it.
Where the money comes from.
$28 billion.
My family's had plenty of reason.
For a common sense.
The sovereign grant is the royal family's first source of money. Let's talk about what this grant is and how it became such an important source of royal funding. The sovereign grant is simply the British government's way of helping the monarch with money so that they can do their critical tasks without any problems.
See you again.
Lovely to see you again.
That we only get a glimpse of.
This isn't just pocket money. It pays for things like staff salaries, official travel, and keeping the royal palaces in good shape. In short, it covers all the costs that come with the royal family's public responsibilities. This began with George III in 1760. The king chose to give these funds to the treasury to take care of. It was a big deal because the king controls the crown estate, but it's not their personal piggy bank, so they can't sell it off and take the money themselves. It is now run by a board of an independent group that makes sure everything is legal. That was before the sovereign grant. There was the civil list and 3 grants in aid for things like travel, communication, and palace maintenance. The Queen got the civil list every year, which was like a salary from the government for her job as head of state and head of the Commonwealth. All of these funding lines were combined into the sovereign grant in 2012. This made the funding system easier to understand and made royal finances a bit more open. The sovereign grant has been in place since 2012. The official site for the British monarchy tells us that this gift comes from a portion of the Crown Estate's income. The Crown Estate may sound like something from a fairy tale, but it's actually a huge group of UK farms and buildings that bring in hundreds of millions of pounds every year, and we'll look into how this massive estate contributes to the royal finances. Let's go back to the beginning with the Sovereign Grant Act of 2011. This law was very important because it changed the way the British royal family handles their money in the most significant way over 250 years. The Act, which was passed by the Parliament of the United Kingdom, combined all the earlier funding streams into a single payment called the Sovereign Grant. At first, it was 15% of the income from the Crown Estate. Later, it was raised to 25% for 10 years to pay for big repairs, like the £369 million makeover of Buckingham Palace.
Of surrendering the hereditary revenues, including the Crown Estate, to my government for the benefit of all.
The goal was to make managing the royal funds easier and more up-to-date by getting rid of the old civil list and separate grants for things like travel and property upkeep. The grant will be looked at every 5 years to make sure it meets the needs of the royal household without being too generous. This new method is meant to be open and accountable. The sovereign grant is reviewed by the National Audit Office and reported to Parliament, just like all other government spending. This makes sure that every penny is tracked. The sovereign grant was a huge £82.2 million per year in the tax year of 2018 to 2019. That's about $106 million for those of you in the United States. Don't get too excited though. The Queen and her family don't really spend all that money. A big chunk of the money, exactly £32.9 million, was set aside to give Buckingham Palace a major makeover. You also have to pay for royal staff, cover duty-related travel, and keep the lights on at the castles, among other things. The Crown Estate is the second main source of income for the British royal family. This isn't just a group of properties, it's a hub of business and good management that is very important to the country's economy. The Crown Estate has an incredibly broad portfolio, which includes urban areas, rural regions, the entire seabed around England, Wales and Northern Ireland, and much more. Its roots go back hundreds of years to areas that were once owned by the monarchy. But since 1760, when George III was king, the income from these lands have been given to the Treasury in exchange for money that goes toward the sovereign grant today. The Sovereign Grant Act of 2011 made this change official and up to date. Its goal was to create a stable financial model where the estate's gains pay for public spending, which is good for the whole country. The Crown Estate makes a big difference in the UK's economy when it comes to money. It has made a net profit of millions of dollars in recent years, showing that it is more than just a group of assets. It's an important part of the country's economy. The Crown Estate is run by a separate group of people called the Crown Estate Commissioners. Their job is to make sure that the estate's activities are both profitable and in the public interest. The Crown Estate owns a lot of different things. It owns Regent Street and St James's in London, which are two of the most famous streets in the city and are full of shops and offices. The scenery goes beyond the cities and includes large rural estates with farms, forests, and parks. It also has a large marine portfolio that includes rights to mineral extraction and the production of green energy on almost the whole seabed around the UK, out to 12 nautical miles. This intensive resource management is about more than just profits. The Crown Estate also has a significant impact on environmental stewardship and sustainability. As part of its lease rounds for offshore wind projects, it is one of the main groups working to help the UK move to a net zero carbon economy. Not only do these projects make a lot of money, but they also help the country reach its energy security and environmental goals. The Crown Estate is run by laws set by Acts of Parliament. This makes sure that everything is clear and that people are held accountable. The company's gains go back to the Treasury, and the monarch doesn't get any money from it, even though the monarch technically owns it during their reign. This setup shows a unique mix of old-fashioned values and new ways of managing money. The second major source of income for the British royal family is the Privy Purse and the Duchy of Lancaster. The Duchy of Lancaster is more than just an asset. It's a key component of the British monarch's private income. This historic portfolio contains land, properties, and assets held in trust for the sovereign, also known as the Duke of Lancaster.
Money with King Charles III's face on it, but little is known about how much money he makes or how much he's worth.
What's remarkable about this is the combination of deep-rooted heritage and the demands of modern asset management. The Duchy differs from the Crown Estate in that it provides the monarch with a private income that he or she can utilize to cover both personal and official expenses that are not covered by the sovereign grant. Consider a broad collection of estates that includes agricultural, commercial, and residential assets. As of the end of March 2023, the Duchy of Lancaster's net asset value was a staggering £641.2 million. The Duchy aggressively manages these assets to generate an exceptional adjusted net surplus, which was reported to be £26.2 million in 2023. This is more than simply numbers. It's about preserving a legacy and safeguarding the financial independence of the British monarch without using public cash. The Duchy's money is used in complex ways. While money supports the royal lifestyle, it is also used to maintain and conserve the Duchy's properties. These assets are not static. They are part of a dynamic portfolio that changes as needed. Assets may be bought and sold, and long leases can be granted. However, these transactions are carried out with a watchful eye on safeguarding the Duchy's primary estates, and everything is done in accordance with tight legal requirements to guarantee that everything is in order. Also, this is not a closed book. The Duchy's activities are transparent, with annual financial accounts and reports made available to the general public. This transparency is intended to guarantee that, while the Duchy functions independently of the Crown Estate and government finance, it maintains high levels of accountability and stewardship. It's a delicate balance of history and innovation, with financial savvy meeting royal formality. In a modern twist, despite the legal tax exemptions associated with royal assets, the Duchy's income is voluntarily subject to income tax, demonstrating fiscal responsibility and openness. This arrangement exemplifies a modern monarchy's attempt to reconcile historical advantages with current requirements of transparency and responsibility. The next income source is the Duchy of Cornwall. A key component of the royal family's financial structure is a private estate founded in 1337 by Edward III. Its principal objective was to offer independence and income to his son and heir, Prince Edward, establishing the tradition that each Duke of Cornwall is the monarch's eldest surviving son and successor to the throne. The Prince of Wales, the current Duke, is the 25th Duke in this lineage, and he uses estate profits to fund his family's public, private, and philanthropic activities. The Duchy's foundation is based on a charter that has guaranteed its continuity and devotion to traditional government for generations. Notably, as the present Duke, the Prince of Wales receives the annual revenue generated by the Duchy's capital assets rather than owning them. This money is critical for funding his and his family's varied governmental activities and humanitarian efforts. Geographically, the Duchy of Cornwall stretches far beyond Cornwall, covering approximately 52,449 hectares spread across 20 counties, primarily in the southwest of England.
This prince to hold the title Duke of Cornwall will be William, who will inherit the estate the day his father becomes king.
The estate encompasses a wide range of properties, from arable and animal farms to residential and commercial buildings, as well as woodlands, rivers, quarries, and extensive coastline. This enormous estate symbolizes the Duchy's historical and ongoing ties to the region, retaining rights and obligations unique to Cornwall and sections of South Devon, such as ownership of the shoreline and riverbeds. From an operational standpoint, the Duchy of Cornwall is handled by around 150 employees spread over 7 offices in strategic locations such as London, Bath, Dartmoor, and the Isles of Scilly. This team ensures that the estate is administered in a sustainable and responsible manner, with an emphasis on long-term viability and community benefit. The Duchy also directly operates various enterprises, like the Duchy Nursery and the Duchy Holiday Cottages, which add to its revenue. Financially, the Duchy is strong, with net assets and surplus reflecting a stable and well-managed estate. For example, in the year that ended March 31, 2023, the Duchy reported a net asset value of £641.2 million and created a significant adjusted net surplus, demonstrating its capacity to balance commercial profitability with commitments to heritage and community. Furthermore, the titles of Prince of Wales and Duke of Cornwall, though held by the same person, are different. The title of Prince of Wales is not automatically inherited, but is a special creation granted by the ruling monarch, whereas the title of Duke of Cornwall is hereditary and immediately passes to the monarch's eldest son upon his birth, or when a new monarch ascends the throne. This structured yet dynamic management of the Duchy not only provides financial independence to the next generation, but also demonstrates a commitment to conservation and community engagement, ensuring that the Duchy's operations are in line with modern expectations of environmental stewardship and social responsibility. When you go behind the royal curtains, you'll see that the British royal family's finances aren't just about glitz and glamour, but also about their ancient estates, Sandringham House and Balmoral Castle. These are not simply homes, but important sources of private revenue for the royals. Sandringham House in Norfolk, a popular resort since Queen Victoria purchased it in 1862, is much more than a vacation residence. Every year, the royal family spends Christmas there, hosting events that have become tradition throughout the years. Despite the joyful atmosphere, Sandringham is a fully operational estate. It includes vast lands that contribute to the royal treasury through diverse farming and land management operations. The estate's efficient use of its land means that it serves as both a personal retreat and a profitable asset, increasing its value as part of the royal portfolio. In Scotland, Balmoral Castle portrays a similar story of tradition and resourcefulness. Balmoral, which Prince Albert acquired for Queen Victoria, is a huge estate with forestry, farming, and game moors. The castle and its grounds are more than just attractive retreats. They contribute significantly to the royal coffers through conservation and agricultural activities. Every summer, the royal family stays to Balmoral not just to rest, but also to demonstrate their continuous dedication to the estate's ecological management and role in supporting local economy. Both of these estates demonstrate a balance of personal meaning and economic utility. They are prime instances of how the royals maintain their lifestyle and responsibilities, not just via public funding or gifts, but also by prudent and historical land management. These estates demonstrate a record of not only preserving history, but actively engaging with it to guarantee that these homes stay profitable and relevant, ensuring financial independence for today's royals and future generations. Let's take a closer look at the interesting world of the British royal family's money, where history and wealth are linked in amazing ways. The royal collection is at the heart of this story, and it is a true cultural and historical show. Picture this: a massive collection of over 7,000 paintings, 150,000 old master prints, and thousands of other valuable things distributed among the UK's royal homes. It's more than simply a static treasure trove. This collection generates a regular stream of revenue through tourist admissions to locations such as Windsor Castle and Buckingham Palace, where the public may learn about royal history and luxury. Now let's talk about the personal bling, the jaw-dropping jewellery collection, which includes none other than the legendary crown jewels. These aren't just sparkling adornments kept under strict security in the Tower of London. They're historical artifacts worth $4 to $6 billion. Imagine the imperial state crown adorned with some of the world's most famous diamonds. However, the royal infatuation with gemstones does not end with the crown jewels. Queen Elizabeth II had an incredible personal collection, stored in a vault beneath Buckingham Palace, filled with sapphires and ancient artifacts passed down through centuries, each with its own story to tell. Financial awareness is another key component of the royal wealth management approach. Beyond the crowns and canvases, the royals have made shrewd stock market investments. The late Queen Elizabeth II's investment portfolio, valued at more than £110 million, was primarily invested in blue-chip British companies, demonstrating a blend of traditional royal conservatism and contemporary financial techniques. This portfolio had its ups and downs, but it remains an important component of the family's efforts to retain financial independence and stability. The British royal family protects their past while ensuring its self-sufficiency through a combination of old regalia, masterful art, and astute investments. These assets are more than just affluence. They help the family with social responsibilities, philanthropic activity, and involvement in UK culture. It's an intriguing interplay of responsibility, tradition, and finance that maintains the royal finances strong and grounded in the present. The British royal family's wealth comes from historic estates and great art collections, as well as astute financial ventures. These assets do more than just support a lifestyle. They fund royal obligations and contribute to cultural heritage, transforming the monarchy into a self-sustaining institution. What are your thoughts about the royal family's financial strategies? Do you think they successfully reconcile traditional and modern financial needs? Please leave your comments below and let's discuss.